Again, welcome all guys to the FranConnect Sky Web Forms ATE Ask the Expert session. Our lesson looks like what you see on your screen. We have 3 different lessons and a Q&A session. The first lesson really is going to give us the who, what, where, whens, and whys of web forms. So why do we use web forms? What's the purpose of web forms? And then where are web forms actually available to us to use? There are 3 modules that you can use web forms in. And I wanted to kind of show you where they're actually capable of using. Lesson 2 really is going to get into the meat of how do we develop a web form. So we're going to walk through the process of developing a web form and how it is that we build that particular web form out. It's going to be a very basic web form. I'm not going to go into real huge details as to making it really beautiful or anything like that. I'm just going to show you the very basics of web form creation. And then lesson 3 really talks about what are the best practices of using a web form. Most of you guys have heard of web forms or know of web forms in that you guys are using them to import sales leads right away. And that's one of the most basic functionalities of web forms. Usually that particular web form is built by FranConnect for you, and you start with that particular web form. But we also have the capability of allowing you guys to build your own web forms for whatever purpose of importing data into your system by the end user. So we're going to go over those best practices using web forms, and then we'll have a short Q&A session, or as long as you need. Typically, we try to shoot for about half an hour curriculum, and then about half an hour. We give a full half hour of time for Q&A sessions. So this is our agenda for today. Any questions about what we're going to be covering today? All right, I'm going to pull over my demo domain here. This is a basic demo domain, okay? And the first place that we're going to start is going to be under the admin section, because all web forms are developed under the admin section. Okay? There are 3 places that you can build web forms. First of all, let me show you a basic web form. And what it might look like for you. This is just a basic web form that one of our particular trainers put together. It was an event request, and you can see it's very basic, in which you would have a franchisee come in and request an event. They would select their franchise ID, the date that they wanted that event, who the organizer was to be, what type of event, summary, and then the event type categorization. And then they would submit their request. Now, obviously, this particular web form is very simple. There's no frills in it, but this is what a web form can be used for. Now, with each event or with each web form, note that you have the option to get the URL for every web form and the iframe embed code. So why use a web form? Really, the whole purpose of using a web form is to allow for your franchisees or your end users of any kind to go to that particular link, either the iframe embed code on your main website or sending them that actual URL that we just showed you, to be able to update information from one of 3 different modules. So that kind of jumps us into where we can use the different web forms. Web forms can be used in 3 different places. Just a second here. The 3 different places that web forms can be used are the 3 different places web forms can be used are in Info Manager. You'll notice you have an option under Info Manager Admin of Manage Web Form Generator. Sales. And finally, we also have the option to use web forms in CRM. We don't have that available here. Where is it? But you have that option in CRM as well. It doesn't look like this particular domain has CRM available to us, which is okay because honestly we're going to be sticking to InfoManager today. Okay, so the purpose then, of course, would be to update information in sales, update information in InfoManager, update information in CRM, okay, or add information, as in the web form to add a sales lead into there, okay. So that's why we're going to use web forms, and those are the 3 modules that they're capable of being used in. Okay. Lesson 2 really is going to be talking about how to create a web form. So we're going to go into InfoManager real quick. And one of the things that is a big thing within Information Manager is compliance, and making sure that we are compliant within our system. And of course, if you've taken our Information Manager module training, you know that one of the really good places of compliance that of course we like to use is the insurance policy details. We of course can set up triggers on these particular policy details here, especially the expiration date. Notice that this particular franchisee, Stadium West here, has an insurance policy that has been expired. And of course, we talked to you about an Information Manager setting up a trigger, a notification that allows us to note somebody or task somebody within the system of, hey, this particular franchisee has got expired insurance. We also show you the possibility of using the Campaign Center to create email campaigns that tell this particular franchisee, hey, you've got expired information. Let's go ahead and make sure you get that updated. Please send us that information. What I'd like to do today is to show you how to integrate an insurance web form, an insurance expiration web form, so that you can include that link within your particular Campaign Center, so that when you sent out an email use the Campaign Center to send out an email, or 2 or 3 or 4, however many you decided to send out, you would give them a link to automatically update that insurance policy details there. So let's jump into how we would do a web form on that particular option. So the way that we would do that is we would go into our admin options. We're going to go into our Info Manager section because we're creating a web form that we want data inputted into the Info Manager. We then scroll down to our Manage Web Form Generator section here. Notice that all of our active web forms are available here. And within our Manage Web Form, we can also search for inactive web forms that we might want to reactivate and reuse. Notice, of course, we've got quite a few of them that are inactive that are currently not being used. From here, of course, you're going to create a new form. Now your first page in developing a web form is going to be the details. So you're going to name this particular form whatever you want to name it. We'll call this the Insurance Update Form. And we'll call the form title Insurance Update Form. Now you have the option of displaying the form title by leaving this checked, or not displaying it if you don't choose to. Your description will not display, but this would be for internal usages. What is it that you're going to use this particular form for? So if we're going along our same use case of, hey, let's include this particular web form in every one of our insurance expiration email campaigns that we send out, we put that in our form description. A lot of these particular items right here form format, we have the option to go single page or multi-page. Notice that as I change from single page to multi-page, we have some options through here. We're going to stay on single page. We have some column options, which will break it into columns. I'm going to stay with one column. We have the default field label, left or top. Where do you want the field labels to be? And of course, we have the option to have various different languages within our forms. Your iframe width will change how wide your particular form will display on the screen. And the iframe height, again, will change how high that particular item is. Now, here's where you're going to be developing your web form URL that you're going to be able to give to individuals to allow them to update their insurance expiration dates, data. So we might put something like insurance update. And you notice, of course, I have not used a space or any special characters because below it says avoid using space and special characters. So it may look a little jumbled together here, but this really gives you the option to name this particular form whatever you want. If I spelled it right, it would. And that way, right within the form URL, people are going to know exactly what you are trying to do with this particular form. Okay. Again, I highly recommend that you play around with some of these formatting options here, but we're going to be very basic with our particular forms. We're going to stay single page, one column, default field left alignment, form in English, and leave all of our width and height the same. But play around with that in your leisure, and you can really get to some very specialized forms there. Next, we get into the, oops, let's go insurance update 2 then. I've already done that one. Let's try 3. You can tell I've done this particular form a couple of times when practicing. Wow, how about 16? All right, we'll say int update, and we'll just see how that works. Oh, okay, I see what we're talking about here. There we go. There we go. Because I already built one of these forms and named it that, it was not liking my particular name. All right. So now notice, because we are in the form generator, web form generator for Info Manager, it automatically makes it to be a situation in which you are going to make them select their franchise ID from a drop-down. That is not negotiable. You can modify it and change the label of this particular field, but it's always going to make you put in, or make the end user put in their franchise ID from a drop-down. Okay? Why? Because otherwise the system does not know where to link this particular information to. So this is not a negotiable field. You can move it up or down, right? But it's going to be there no matter what. We have the option to add headers. So we could really create a beautiful header by putting in pictures or whatever we wanted to do for our header, as well as a nice, beautiful footer. I'm not going to get into any fancy schmancy stuff with the header or the footer. I'm just going to really go ahead and show you how to add data into the system. Okay. So the first thing that they're going to have to do is enter in the franchise ID. The next thing, notice off to the left, I have every single one of my tabs that are available in my particular Information Manager module. The one that we're interested in for this particular web form is I want them to be able to enter in their insurance details. So notice when I expand the insurance details, it gives me all of the fields that are available for me to enter in. Now to add a particular field for them to enter in, I'm going to pull in my title, my effective date, my expiration date, Actually, I don't want the title. That's the title of the person. We want policy title there, Frank. There we go. And then I want to pull in my document and document title as well. So basically, if I were to go ahead and I'm going to show you what that's going to look like. We're going to, within this particular form, allow for a franchisee, based on the link we gave them, to go in, select their particular franchise ID, which this will show up in the drop-down, and within the insurance section, we're going to allow them to update their policy title, their effective date, expiration date, what the document title is, and upload a particular document to prove that they have insurance so that we are staying within compliance at the franchisor level. Again, we can make things very, very fancy schmancy. We could double click and drag or drop add and text in here. We could put in our text here. Say, please update your insurance information as it has expired. We can align it left, right, center. We can add style to it if we wanted to, making it bold. We could change the color of it, so on and so forth. Really get crazy with this particular option. Let's go red on blue just to make it fun. Wow, that's really horrible color. Sorry, guys. We're going to go with it, though. We then have the option to add sections. So if this form was really going to be much more detailed than just, hey, entering your details here, we could add several different sections within it. But because this is a very basic form, I'm just going to have one section, one page. I'm going to do a quick save and preview. And this is what the end user is going to see when they come in. They're going to select their particular person, put in the policy title, put in an effective date, expiration date, put in what the document title is that they're uploading, and then be able to choose a file to upload to prove that they have the insurance ready to go. Once you're done with the preview, next out of this particular window, and we could scroll down to Save and Next. That's going to bring us to our finalization screen here of our settings. I'm sorry, we're going to go into our settings section here, in which case we are given the option to give them, after they submit, a confirmation message and customize it. Thank you for submitting your information. We will get back to you shortly. Or, thank you for submitting your information. We will confirm receipt shortly, if that's what your process is. Or you could just say, thank you for submitting your insurance information. Again, really, you could customize this and make it very beautiful. You can also redirect them to a URL. So if you, after they submitted this particular information, if there was a next step and you wanted them to redirect to a different website, you could do that. We'll stick with the confirmation message. And then we'll go ahead and go to finish. And now we're at the confirmation page, in which we are given, at this particular time, the option to copy our embed code if we were going to put it on our main website, or if we wanted the host URL, we can click on host URL, and this is our URL that we could put into our campaigns. We then click on OK, and of course our particular form now is ready to be used. So how do we use it? First of all, any questions about how to build a basic web form before I move on to best practices of using our web forms? Remember, use your hand or use the hand raise function or the chat box if you have any questions on how to create a web form right now. All right, so lesson 3 really talks about best practices of using our web forms. Now, I've seen several different ways that that customers have used web forms. One of the ways that I've seen them use them is right within Information Manager. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the URL real quick. And then when I go into Info Manager, I'm going to go into a campaign, which could be triggered by the expiration date of the particular franchisee. And in the campaign, I might be creating a template that would include my insurance expiration letter. So insurance has expired. Oops, I'm going to type there, buddy. Insurance has expired. Please update. Something like that. Okay? And then right within this particular email, dear, we can insert keywords here, right? I will go dear. Let's put in first name. Please update your insurance. That's a hard word for me to spell, apparently. Information as it has expired using this link. And then again, I can use that particular link right here. Oops, it didn't carry over because I copied the keyword. Darn it. All right, we'll come back to this real quick. Let's save this and I'll copy it and come back real quick. And I'll put in a key link here. Thank you. Sender's name. And I'll add that. And I'll come back to that because I forgot to copy and paste it over. Give me a second. So now I have my insurance has expired template here. And I will go and I will drag over my, I'll go back into my Info Manager and I'll use my Manage Web Form Generator. And I will grab my insurance update, single page, copy URL, copy. And then I can jump back into Info Manager. And I can include in my template that I just built the link. And notice, of course, it comes right in as insert edit link for us. Okay. And now, of course, I have this template, and I could include this template into a campaign. I could just send out the insurance has expired to them. Maybe we do a trigger that goes to various people based on this particular person's Adams Stadium West here. We know that because I was the person that was responsible for the insurance of these compliance, and I got a trigger saying, hey, they're expired. Note that I could go ahead and view trigger history and such, and send them a particular email. And I could go ahead and pull in my insurance has expired email, and boom, it populates all of my insurance information. And I will go ahead and just send this to myself just so that I can show you guys what it's going to look like from the customer end, and then send this off to them. Now I should get an email very shortly in my email inbox, and I'll be able to show you what they're going to get. And of course, this would be tracked under your contact history. Located here. Oh, sent it off to Liz. Let me send that again because it saved Liz's contact history. So let's go ahead and update this. Because Liz is no longer around. All right, that should be good. Whoops. And let's go ahead and try and resend that so that I get it this time. We'll send email. My name is populated. We'll take Liz out of there. She doesn't get it. And we will pull in the insurance has expired template. And we'll send that off. Now I should get it. And again, this is tracked under your contact history, underneath your message history here. We can take a look at the particular subject and see all of what was sent off. And eventually I'm going to get an email here in my inbox here with this particular message in it. My emails are taking a little bit longer than I thought it would. But from there, of course, I would use this particular link, boom, to go in and actually update my franchise information. So since my email is taking a little longer, I will then populate who the franchise ID is. So this is of course what the franchise ID or person is doing. We would then put in State Farm as the policy title, indemnity, or whatever. Effective date, we would say it is effective as of today, and then it's effective until 16th of 2018. Here's the document title, insurance policy page. We then choose the file that we want to upload. So I'll just upload anything that's on our my desktop. And then I click on the submit button as the franchise ID or franchisee, and it automatically updates my information within FranConnect. As soon as the little spinny thing will stop. So then back on my site here, while that's still going, I'll go ahead and close that out and see if it updated already. Now you'll note in my insurance section, once this finally goes through, my policy information will be updated here. And now that particular expiration date will be updated. Taking a second to get to there, but as soon as it does update, you'll see that the policy information is going to be updated, and the whole trigger will start over again. I'm having some problems with it updating, but it's going to take this 6/16, 2017, 2018, all this policy title will all be updated in the particular site. There it goes. And that's our what we get from there. Okay. And then if we go to our insurance, notice now State Farm Indemnity. Expiration date's been updated. Our effective date's been updated. The insurance policy page document title has been updated. And if we wanted to view the document right from Information Manager, we can download the document that they uploaded for us to view at the franchisor level. Any questions on how to use a web form? Now, this is one way that you could use it within Info Manager. You could also use it in sales in any of the campaigns that went out on sales. Same thing with CRM. Other places that I've seen it used is in the hub. A lot of times what I've seen in the hub is either in news or library, typically in library. As an administrator, they will put it into the main forms area here, and they'll add a document. And they will say, web link. It's going to be a web link. And just paste in the web link URL. And they will say, use this link to update your insurance information. And they can make it a recommended document, and or they can not make it a recommended, whatever. Make it public, and then click on Add. No, brief summary. Insurance update form. And now, of course, within their library, you'll notice within the main CE forms, they can just, any person that has access to this particular folder can go in, boom, click, and they're brought right into the insurance update form. So there's a multitude of ways that you can use this particular web form option. The main functioning, though, of course, is to allow for end users, whether they be corporate end users or franchisee end users or whoever, end users of any kind, to update information in sales, Info Manager, or CRM. This really concludes our sessions, our 3 different lessons on web forms. We do have plenty of time. It's about 11:42, so we've got plenty of time to go over any questions that you have. I have a full 18 minutes left on the call. So if you do have any questions, please chat them out or raise your hand, and I would be happy to unmute you individually so that I can answer any questions that you might have on web forms. If you are not going to ask any questions, I want to thank you all so very much for taking the time to be with me today. Again, my name is Frank Menger. I also want to encourage you all to use our Help Center link in the upper right-hand corner. And if you ever have any other questions outside of this particular training, you can always contact us here at Help Center to support ticket here through help.franconnect link from our Help Center. Jeremy, I'm going to unmute you because I've got a raised hand here, so you must have a question. Of course, Jeremy, I can't unmute you because I don't think you're trying to unmute you, but you'll need to put in your audio pin so that I can actually unmute you. Or you can ask your question in the chat box. It doesn't look like oh, there you were, and then you weren't. Let's see here. Jeremy, if you could ask your question in the chat box or use the audio pin to dial in, I'd be grateful. Looks like you have a question because you got your hand raised, but I can't unmute you because you haven't entered in the audio pin. I'll send it to you one more time and hopefully we'll go there. Okay. Why are my custom fields in sales not showing as being able to be used in web forms? There are only a certain amount, Jeremy, there are only a certain amount of web fields that can be used within the web forms. If you are interested in having your custom fields be available within web forms, you have the option to contact our help desk, and they can work with you in getting those particular custom fields available to you. Most of the custom fields should be available to you, so I'd have to kind of take a look at your setup and figure out why, unless they have been customized far beyond what we do within our testing domain. So they should be available to you, Jeremy, and I highly recommend that those custom fields, if they're not being available for you to use in web forms, that you contact our help desk for support on that, because they should all be available for you to use. Does that answer your question, Jeremy? Because every single custom field should be available for us to use there. As you saw when we went into my site, we had, within Info Manager, we had admin and Info Manager. We had specialized categories. Now let's go into just my insurance update and modify. We had our categories even off to the left here. And even my custom fields, like my, let's get this out of the way. Come on. Even my custom sections, like this test section, had all of the fields available for them to use. So to be honest, I don't know why your custom fields are not showing up, and I would contact our help desk, because all of my fields are available here to use, no matter if they are a test category or whatever the case may be. Interesting. So yeah, I would check with the help desk, Jeremy. I'll go into, let me take a look at that real quick. Sales. Lead management. So we have like some of the questions. This would be, no, these are not, nothing's custom in here. Let me see. Not be qual. Yeah, I don't have any custom fields, so I would have to look into that. But honestly, if your custom fields are not showing in sales module, then I would definitely be reaching out to the help desk and just make sure that the functionality exists. And if not, I'd be interested to note that as well. So, okay. Probably I will test that on my own as well, just to see what's going on there. Any other questions? Add a custom field here real quick just to test, Jeremy. Just because I got time, might as well. There's my custom field. Let's see. All right, Lori, thank you. And I'm going to keep working on until we have any questions. If we don't have any questions, Jeremy, you could kind of hang on and let's just kind of see what happens here. So in sales, under personal information, I'm going to double check and make sure that we have it there before I go ahead and try and add it in on my back end. All right, so under personal information, and let's see, I've got my custom field. There's my custom field, so I'm able to update it. And let's jump into admin now. And let's go to sales. Let's go into manage web form generator. And let's go ahead and let's just go ahead and test this guy right here. Modify it, see if I can find it. Next. Oh, we don't have to go through all the details here. Primary info. Nope, it does not have that. Is it under? No, it's under personal profile, wasn't it? See, there's my custom field. So to be honest, Jeremy, your custom fields should be in there. I don't know why they're not showing up for you. My custom field is available right there, and I don't know why. I've never seen it like that. I have to check your setup and see what's going on there. That's a good question. Jeremy says, what if you created custom tabs that included custom fields? Well, you notice, though, that it had custom tabs, so let's try that. I love it that you're taking me down the rabbit hole. I love it, buddy. It gives me something to do for the next 10 minutes. Let's see, manage form generator. Continue. We'll add a new tab. We'll call it custom tab. Submodule name, management. It's active, exportable, accept module import. You want to make tabs yes, okay, and save. Let's see here. Okay, so you said, what if you created custom tabs that included custom fields, which is what I'm doing. Are the custom fields only available on standard tabs? No, you can create custom fields within that and then to be used in web forms. So now I've got that custom tab here, and if I go into this, I'm now going to add a field. And section custom test and then within that section I'll add a new field of custom field and field and learn to spell, Frank, in custom tab. And we'll do something different. Let's do a date, just to see if it has something to do with it. We'll add that field. So now we've got to go to the custom tab. We'll go into sales again. Make sure we've got our custom tab, which is going to be off to the left here for Albert John. So we got our custom tab, and it's got that custom date field within it. Let's see now if we can go ahead and pull this custom field and custom tab into a web form. I think we should be able to. If not, then there's something glitchy going on with your system. If I can here, obviously it's something to do with your system, so I'm not exactly certain. I'll manage one form generator from sales, and I will alter this particular, modify this guy, go to designs, save and next. Come on. There we go. And then into the design, we should have, oh, there you go. That must be it. So it is a custom tab, custom field thing. If it's in one of the generic in sales only, it does not show here. Let's see here. No. Primary info. No. Qualification details? No. Not see anything custom there. No. Real estate. Yeah, so it definitely is something to do with it if you have a custom field and in a custom tab. So any custom tabs essentially don't show up in sales. They do show up in Info Manager, as we saw, which was what I was demoing in. But for whatever reason, they don't show up in. So if you have a custom field you want to pull in, it's got to be in one of these particular guys. That being said, I think I'm going to put that into the idea portal as to why we don't have that particular functionality. It works in Info Manager. Why wouldn't it work in sales? And I would assume because sales and CRM are very similar, Jeremy, we would not have that option in CRM either. Yeah, I definitely am, because that's silly. I don't know why we have that option within Info Manager, but not the other two modules. I'll double check in CRM as well. Any other questions, guys? All right, Jeremy, you're the last one on the call, so I'm going to go ahead and end the call. I'm going to stop the recording. I want to thank all of you guys for joining me today. Again, my name is Frank Menger. I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys might have going forward. Thank you very much for having the time to be with me today. Have a wonderful weekend.